Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So I'm here today with the fancy new OnePlus 10 Pro. Bam. Well, it seems like it's been an eternity since they've released a new phone, and this one as well because it was released in China, maybe some other Asian markets. A couple of months ago, it's finally worked its way here, and they did like a online announcement thing on the 31st of March. So basically, 2 days ago now that you're watching this. So we're going to go ahead today, dive in, unbox it. It actually comes with the charger, which is a really nice surprise nowadays because basically no other flagship phones do, but it starts off at $899 too. So it seems like they learned a little bit of a lesson there when it comes to their pricing and marketing. So let's take a look at it and see what it has to offer. All right, so here we have the OnePlus 10 Pro. Finally, and if you've been following this phone, you know it came out a little while back internationally, well, I think mostly in China. This is the global unlocked version, so you can get this. I'm not sure about carrier support other than T-Mobile. I did see they were going to have it, and ta-da, here it is. So Snapdragon 8 Generation 1, comes in a couple of storage options. The one in the US that's on the carriers is only going to be 128 with 8 gigs of RAM. It does max out at 12, and we'll go ahead and use our handy-dandy unboxing tool to take this out of the box. So yeah, it's got a couple of curious decisions when it comes to this phone, most notably being that it won't work on 5G ever on AT&T. So if you got AT&T, that's problematic. And of course, it's got this is the second year of the Hasselblad co-op on the color science when it comes to the cameras. Maybe one day we'll get actual, like, better performing cameras instead of just some color science. But it does do the 10-bit color, which is nice. It's got some stuff inside the insert box there. And here's the phone. The beautiful OnePlus 10 Pro. I was hoping for the green one. OnePlus sent me the black one, which, hey, I'm super happy about this anyway. I'm grateful that they sent it to me, and seems like some of my traveling around this year has paid off because I was able to help reestablish this relationship here. So, ta-da! Here we have the cameras, which are designed and, by Kenmore, because it looks just like a flat-top Surface stove. Really interesting design. So we got the LED flash. We've got the 3 cameras. So what we've got here, 48 megapixel wide-angle primary camera, a 50 megapixel ultra-wide, and then the 8 megapixel telephoto. And so we still got the mute switch over here, which is nice. Looks like they took one out of Samsung's playbook here. It's got the molded camera where it kind of wraps around and is part of the chassis, which is totally fine. I honestly don't mind the way that it looks so much, but it's kind of a little bit retro now, a retro by a year anyway, because the newer phones, like the iPhone, doesn't have as big of a camera brick. It's got more isolated cameras. The S22 Ultra, they're singular and have that really retro look and pop out. That might have been a good opportunity here with Hasselblad to really kind of dive in on that old classic appearance. You can see here it's got this soft touch back with, it's immune to fingerprints, which is cool. OnePlus logo. And it's got a big 6.7-inch display on it. Got a nice weight to it. It's balanced well. One thing I will say, though, is this sucker is very, very slick. If you were to kind of hold this and don't have a case on it, I fully expect you to drop it pretty quick. Now, it's also got the volume rocker over here, USB-C on the bottom. We got the SIM card tray here. Now, it does do 5G with Verizon, and I guess it does it with T-Mobile. It doesn't have millimeter wave, so that's one thing missing here. But another thing missing is about $200 off the price point. This starts off at $899 MSRP for the 8 gig and the 128. It's got dual stereo speakers. The unlocked model does not have an IP rating, but apparently the carrier model does, and it'll probably cost more if I have to guess. Now, it does have some other stuff in the box here. It's supposed to have the charger, and I believe it's 2 different charging methods. So, like, if you have the international model with the international charger, it's 80 watts, which will charge the entire phone in right at 32 minutes. Now, I have the US model. This is the substantially smaller charger, not substantially by much. I want to say this one's 65 watts, and it's supposed to charge from 1 to 58% in 15 minutes, which is totally acceptable. And most of the time, you don't need a 100% charge. Being able to get halfway or more in about 15 minutes is really, really nice. And we got the included charging cable. I do need to point out here, though, that it does actually come with a charging brick. So apparently never settle means they're still going to give you a charging brick. That's like the extent of they're not settling anymore, I guess. And then we've got the USB adapter in here, which goes from USB Type A to C. You can do some file transfer stuff. And if you ever want to plug in like a flash drive to the bottom or whatever, that's cool too. So here They sent me these two cases too, which are nice. These are official OnePlus cases you can buy. We'll take a look at these. I already cut the bottom just to make life easier. So case number one, I'm going to go and put it on here. Just makes life easier. And there is a screen protector pre-installed, so that's also very nice. So the case here doesn't really add a lot of heft. It gives it definitely some texture and some grip, so you can hold on to it and not drop it. I've always been a fan of the OEM ones that they sell directly from OnePlus. So there's that case. We'll take a look at the second case. I'm actually really interested in using this. I've been a OnePlus fan for several years, ever since the 7 Pro. Now, I started off with the 6T. I wasn't a huge fan of the 6T, but I thought it was a pretty good first offering here in the States, at least on a carrier when it came out on T-Mobile. But I have been a fan since the 7 Pro, and there we go. And you can see that both of the cases are going to offer you this cutout protection for the cameras. Those will be protected if you place it down. I don't really understand the way this is, especially with the camera stuff. Maybe it's something to do reminiscent of an old Hasselblad, but yeah, I don't really like it. And this is a really smooth texture as well. I'm going to go ahead and take that off and in favor of this one. I like this case a lot better. And this was probably my favorite case on the OnePlus 8T and on the 8. Let's fire it up. It does have Quad HD Plus. Maximum nits brightness is up to 1300. Normal, it says, is 500. Also, it boosts up to 800 in certain situations. So not quite the 1700, I guess, is what you get with the S22 Ultra, but still, it's going to be totally good for you. Anything over 1000, 1200 nits, you're going to be perfectly fine, especially if it bumps up in the brightness outside. And also, it's a Quad HD Plus 120 hertz resolution, LTPO2, so it should be able to throttle down and save you some battery life there. Now, let me go ahead and get this set up, and we'll come back and talk about it later. And here we have the OnePlus 10 Pro. Very similar to the 9 Pro, not a lot has changed underneath the hood other than the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1. The baseline model, like we talked about, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage, no expandable storage, and also I have the unlocked model, so I have no IP rating. But again, if you get the carrier model, it's supposed to, and apparently only in the US, this is the model that you get. That's probably why they sent me this one. So a lot of decent things going for it. If you like OnePlus, it feels very much like a OnePlus phone. I've used OnePlus phones since the 6T, the 7 Pro. I skipped the 7T. I wasn't a big fan of that one. But I got the 8, the 8 Pro, the 9. So many of these phones I've tested out over the last couple of years. And this one, it feels just like it. I was very happy while I was at NWC. I got to get my hands on the green one and take a look at it. And I was hoping they would send me green. The black one's perfectly fine. The only thing I'm going to caution you about here that I don't really like is this soft touch back. To me, it's like whenever you touch the surface of like some ice and it just gives you chills. I can't really touch this, especially if you've got dry fingers. It is, some people might like it. It's not for me. The case is definitely going on it instantly, and I've never experienced this with the phone before. It like my arms, you can even see. It just gives me chills and goosebumps, and it's like a shaved ice machine. I don't know what it is, but anyway, hopefully it's not that way for you. But yeah, case on it for sure. That fixes that problem. So yeah, besides that and the stovetop camera lenses, which I'm going to test these out. I'm going to put it through the paces, test it out, put my SIM card in it, which I've been doing that a lot lately. So many phones coming out. So hopefully this is the last one for a little while. Again, yeah, I've enjoyed using the OnePlus phones in the past. I've already got this one set up. I got a couple icons missing there. I got to do some more messing around with it. 5,000 milliamp battery. That's promising. The quick recharge speed that you get. I mean, what was it like 58% in like 14 minutes, something like that. I'm going from memory. There's only so much I can remember from when I recorded earlier. But yeah, that's the thing with OnePlus. Thankfully, they give you the charger. It charges fast. It's got decent battery life. Snapdragon 8 Generation 1. Hopefully, this model doesn't have the heating issues like the Snapdragon 888 did last year. And then they ended up having to throttle a lot of stuff. And then they got caught. And then they got in trouble. So things have been weird for OnePlus over the last year. I'm glad to see they finally squeaked this one out. It's here in the US. It's not quite available yet, though. I think it's going to be available later on here in April, but I know pre-orders are up different places. So that's all I've got. If there's anything you're curious or concerned about, please sound off in the comment section as I'm testing this out, and I will look into that, and I'll get back to you in the comment section as well. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button, and a little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.